Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. And welcome to the first of many Manchester United dailies. Yes, the Manchester United daily will be, of course, a daily show here on Big Mouth. So let's get started. So a month after Mourinho leaves, everyone and their grandmother wants to extend their contracts. In fact, what was that? I hear the cleaner wants a lifetime contract as well. So everyone's saying that the club's a mess. They can't even extend contracts. The club were in a mess. The club were in a mess because no one wanted to sign a contract extend their contract while Mourinho was out of the club. And for another thing I want to get out of the way, this is great doing these videos because I hear so much from my fellow Man United fans on Twitter. I just want to answer back these things on my daily video, which is what I'm going to do. So basically, the players never down tools for Jose Mourinho. He just put them in an impossible situation. He was playing them all as defenders. They could barely even attack. It was ridiculous. He should never have become the manager of this club. It's our fault as well for trying to make him a Manchester United manager when that was impossible. So McTominay, right? McTominay has extended his contract. For me, that's great news, but unfortunately, the negative brigade are out in force to make this a very kind of negative thing. Let me explain something to you. For those of you who don't actually understand football, right? Every engine room needs a Scotty, right? If you're a Star Trek fan, you'll get that. Not every player can be the most skillful player in the world, run past 10 men and put the ball in the back of the onion bag. That's not the way it works. Sometimes you need your workhorse. And Scott McTominay is a workhorse. And he's important to this club and he's good at what he does, which is tackle, kick the ball and keep it easy. Now, that may look easy, but it's not. So, come on. He's off on the negativity here. Come on, he's a young lad. He's extended his contract. Get over it. Oh, people say, we've only extended his contract because we want to do things the cheap way. Stop it. Stop it. You know and I know that's not true. You're just trying to stir the shit. It's a good contract extension. It's good to keep the lad. We talk about other players. This one's better than McTominay. Why isn't he playing? Listen, if he isn't playing, if the other players ain't playing, and McTominay is, or at least McTominay's in the squad, there's a reason for that. I mean, this extension has happened with Sir Alex Ferguson taking a bigger control of the club, a bigger part, playing a bigger part. Solskjaer's here, Mickey Phelan. So I think those people pretty much can tell what's a good player and what's a dud player. I just don't get where this thing is that McTominay isn't very good. No, he isn't got the skill set of a Messi or a Rashford, but he certainly does a job. And I think he'll get better. And I think more people, as the months and years progress, will start to appreciate McTominay. He's 21, 22. So what? He's not an old man. No, he's not 18 either. But you know what? He's important, and I'm personally so glad he extended his contract. So none of that. So this Friday, which is what? The day after tomorrow. Yes, well, I know my days. That's good, isn't it? So Friday, day after tomorrow, Friday night, we play Arsenal. I think this is a tougher game than the Spurs game. I think Arsenal are very handy and very dangerous, and our defence has looked rather shoddy. So it's going to be interesting if this could be our first loss under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What do I think about this one? I'm worried about this game. But if we're going to lose a game, I'd rather lose this one. Yeah, the FA Cup's prestigious. It's a trophy. We want to go all the way. But we don't. In life, you don't even always get what you want. So we may not be able to do it. But, we may do it. But if I remember rightly, our record against Arsenal in the FA Cup isn't great. Now, maybe someone can correct me on that in the comments down below. And has any other YouTubers or anyone using YouTube today noticed that YouTube's playing up? Yes, I tried to do a premiere earlier and I couldn't put the title in. I put the title in and it wasn't reading up. And then I noticed if you go on really, really popular YouTube channels, they've got one view. And I notice I've got no views on mine. And even though I don't get the greatest amount of views, I know I get above zeros. So YouTube needs to sort that out, right? Anyway, forget YouTube. I'm still able to do a video. We're still able to talk about Manchester United. So yes, that's a tricky one. But as I said, if we're going to lose one, make it be this one, because top 4 Champions League qualification is so important. And that is the aim right now. We started this season badly. We may not be able to qualify for the Champions League. But we've got to try. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing a great job. I'm really happy with what he's doing. He's so knowledgeable. He knows the club inside and out. And what about David Beckham buying a stake in Salford City? Wow, that's a bit of a shock. Well, obviously that's a big deal. Those guys are trying to build Manchester United too. But ultimately, there's only one Manchester United, and it's not an issue for me. Good luck to them. But at the end of the day, it's not something that really interests me. It could be a successful venture. They're doing really well so far. Beckham being involved obviously gets a lot more people interested because it's Beckham. But at the end of the day, let's see how far that club progress and if they're going to be a problem to Manchester United. And if they are, they'll have to be wiped out. That's life, I'm afraid. I love you, Becks. I love you, Gary Neville. Even though, Gary Neville, you talk a lot of shit, I still respect you for what you did for the club. But at the end of the day, yeah, you're not a threat to Manchester United, and you never will be. So, yes, I think that is a game that can go either way on Friday. I will be absolutely buzzing because this would say a lot about Solskjaer, because he is going to change this team. I know people don't believe it. I know people are going to be spitting mad about it. I've seen a lot of people that I respect on YouTube saying this won't happen. I think it will happen. I think Sanchez will come in for either Martial or Rashford, maybe Martial, because Sanchez likes playing in that spot that Martial plays in. That would be interesting. But I think that Ole has to measure up. What's more important here? Qualifying for top 4, qualifying for the Champions League, or beating Arsenal in the FA Cup? Of course, beating Arsenal is very prestigious, and for 1 week only, we could say, yeah, 8 games in a row. But then when it comes to the next game, even though the opponents are not, Burnley? They're not the greatest of opponents, although Burnley are a tricky fixture. Let's not start saying, oh, it's only Burnley. It makes me laugh how many United fans underestimate the opposition every week. There's even Man United fans, dismissing Arsenal. Are you mad? Have you seen their attack? Have you seen what they did to Chelsea? Yeah, Chelsea didn't play well, but they still did the business. Chelsea is still a good side. So let's not underestimate anything. So it looks like Martial and De Gea will be signing contracts really, really soon. I'm hoping it's this week, but more realistically, what I'm being told by my sources, it's next week. So I think what you're going to find really quickly, and I think McTominay was just the beginning, a lot of Man United pros will be extending their contracts, which is really exciting. I think it will be the younger players like even Pogba. Rashford, Martial. I don't know if Martial. I think Rashford extended his contract recently, but definitely Martial, De Gea, and I think a lot of players. I think that's what this kind of time of the year is going to be about. Just getting people on long-term contracts. I think the club are going to do it. I don't think the club is a mess behind the scenes like some people keep on saying. It's very tiring to be listening to it and to having to respond to it all the time. Because it is triggering when you keep on hearing people say your club's a mess behind the scenes, when it's not. Mistakes have been made, but mistakes like that have been made before. So I don't really know why people keep on accusing the club and Woodward of being so inept, because I don't believe that's the case. I think, as I say, big mistakes have been made, but surely they know that now. Surely they're going to get a director of football in and either keep Ole or the right man for the job. It's going to be interesting what happens. We'll certainly see. But if Ole keeps on winning, they can't get rid of him, surely. I also believe, and I've said this many a time, that this time next year, the Glazers won't own Manchester United. I honestly believe that. I think that there's a good chance of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still being manager, and Ed Woodward getting the sack in the summer. The Glazers know they're going to sell the club very shortly, so they don't want to make dramatic changes. So I believe Solskjaer will be staying on. That's just my prediction, and I think the club will be sold within a year. That doesn't mean this time next year, within a year. It could become sooner than that. So it's going to be very interesting. Some very interesting developments in the coming year with Manchester United. But that's my prediction. So what do you think about what I've had to say today on the Manchester United Daily? Do you agree with me? Disagree? Like the video, share the video, and let people know I'm here. It'd be very much appreciated.